All right, we'll kick today off with a game. So the first game here is going to be worth 5 points, and there's going to be a really awesome prize at the end for the winner. So this game is real or fake. What we've got here is 3 headlines, 2 of which are fake, and 1 of which is real. The job for you all is to guess which one is fake. So headline number 1, no clothes, no problem. Snap partners with UK virtual fashion brand to create digital apparel for your next meeting. Headline number 2, play Space Invaders during your Zoom meeting. And finally, headline number 3, airplane mode simulates a 6-hour flight in coach because that's how grim reality is now. So when you're ready, just fists up and we'll do rock, paper, scissors. And on shoot, just give me 1, 2, or 3 corresponding to whichever one you think is fake. So rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 3, 2, 1. All right, the fake one is in fact number 1, which means 5 points for Jomayra.
The only reason I got this is because I live with someone that misses travel so much that she recreates the United first class cabin all the time to get her work done. So this is the only reason I believe number 3.
Wow.
Fair. Actually, I saw that the supplier of nuts to United has like this like giant supply of nuts that they couldn't sell, and so they were selling them like at cost. So maybe as part of her experience at home, she can like warm up some like warm nuts and like have them next to her laptop as well.
We've had the whole conversation. Like she is very much, she misses her, and she sits in the same seat always. It's like 3B. Like, so she just has her whole setup.
It's good. It's super fun. Cool. Let's do some quick intros before we get into it. Just short 280 character intro. And for everyone watching, we also have Yael with us. She's going to be live doodling. You can find her on Instagram at YaelIsms. Marc, you want to give us a short 280 character intro?
Yeah, absolutely. Marc Atiyeh, originally from Beirut, Lebanon. Been living here for about 10 years. So I'm the founder and CEO of Pawp. Pawp is a pet startup. What we do is we offer you 24/7 talk to a vet and a $3,000 emergency fund in case of an emergency for a flat fee of $19 a month. Is that good?
Perfect. Jomayra?
Awesome. I'm Jomayra. I currently work at Cowboy Ventures. We're a seed stage focused fund investing in early stage companies. And I tend to focus on anything that's related to the future of work or education.
Last but not least, recurring guest.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I am a stand-up comic residing in New York, and I'm slowly back to doing shows again, but in parks and then on rooftops now.
Do you know what's going to happen in the winter with those shows? Is there a plan in place?
I have no idea. It doesn't sound like indoor dining's happening for a while in New York, but I don't know, maybe we had kind of a mild winter this year, so I feel like we could do heat lamps and it'll be okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All the headlines that we're gonna go through today all come from a newsletter I work on called This Week in Creative Tech. Every week we send out 30 really interesting headlines ranging from more current things to totally wild and wacky future stuff. Anyone watching can sign up at bit.ly/join Future Fridays. So we'll start with headline number 1 for today. This is Netflix is trialing a shuffle option to kill analysis paralysis. So what this headline is about is Netflix has added a shuffle feature to some accounts to help everyone overcome that dreaded flipping through endless Netflix screens trying to pick something. The feature relies on your previous viewing history or saved content from your watch list. I haven't used it, but it sounds like it operates sort of like a Giphy shuffle, where it'll give you like different options. You can pick whether you want to watch it or not. Question to all of you. Are these kind of discovery algorithms positive, or are they reinforcing our existing perspective bubbles? I've seen a lot of pushes recently towards more curated content away from algo-driven things. The idea is that it can help us explore new things that we maybe wouldn't find on our own. Like I've seen a lot around like international music and like now reading. Do you all think that we'll see a greater swing in algo-driven discovery to curated or something else? What are your thoughts there?
I prefer curated because you get stuck in your ways and then you start seeing the same thing over and over again, where I usually go for Netflix suggestions or like private accounts on TikTok that tell you which video, like what are some really good videos that you're missing. So I prefer that than a shuffle.
Yeah, I somewhat agree. I find that with Netflix, I find myself asking a lot of my friends what are shows that they're watching, and they're usually not shows that I would have ever considered. And then I end up liking them. Though I do know that Netflix a while ago, and this was, let's call it like 7+ years ago, probably at this point, or maybe 5+ years ago, tried the whole like watch what your friends are watching type of feature, and it completely failed. So I don't know if it's something that everyone else likes, but I think I also prefer the curated option.
Yeah, I mean, myself, I look at Spotify, and obviously Spotify is one of their biggest features is the ability for them to kind of recommend songs. And I think with songs, it's not quite with obviously like visual content, if that makes sense. I mean, with songs, that's fine. You can skip through it, etc. You wouldn't have wasted 30 minutes after realizing that's not the show for you. So I'd be cautious. I love, obviously like, curation. I think that's definitely important. Shuffly stuff, especially in visual content, I think it's too much to demand from technology at this point.
Sounds like we're gonna mix bag, and we'll have to see if Netflix unveils it to see how we all like it. All right, headline number 2 for today. This one is Artemide unveils Integralis ultraviolet technology that transforms lights into sanitizers. So this is about a new patent for a new type of light that can be fitted into any sort of light fixture and basically programmed via an app to emit either normal light when the rooms are occupied or UV light when they're empty. UV light obviously can help sanitize and disinfect and kill pathogens, including viruses. I'm not actually sure if it can kill COVID, but maybe it's part of this. The downside is it can be harmful to humans. Disinfecting things with UV lights isn't new. It's widely used in hospitals and larger medical facilities. But now with COVID, we're looking at using this in broader public spaces. I guess my question to you is, do we need to be transforming all of our everyday spaces into medical grade facilities? I mean, what does the future of this look like?
I definitely feel like for office space, this sounds like a great idea because it was so annoying to work in an open office space, and then once one person gets sick, then we all get sick. So I'm more for some of this, areas where we can disinfect. Like I don't even mind when you go to the register, they have a plastic shield now to protect people from getting, exposed to a lot of germs. And I feel like we'll probably end up doing more of that in the future.
Yeah. From what I understand, and I am not an expert at this at all, but like, it seems like we're actually going into a space where we're going to have more potential like pandemics like this in the future, or like at least that's what the research seems to be saying. And so it seems like we have to be more cautious than ever before. Obviously, that's a big investment to change a bunch of infrastructure that we already have. But whether it's like adding in new stuff like this or requiring a lot more safety infrastructure and just like safety protocols, it just seems like that's the way the world is going given the time period.
I love it. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and plug in the name of a company I'm not invested in. I'm just a customer. It's called Lark, LARQ. Love what they're doing. I mean, they've been at it for about 2 years. They started with water bottles with UV lights. Interestingly enough, they have a very good backstory. They didn't start as a water company or water bottle company. They started as a like literally LED light company, and then figured out that LED has become super democratized and very cheap. So they figured, all right, we have this technology, we can emit UV lights, what are we going to do with it? They pivoted in starting like water bottles called Lark. Believe it or not, the timing's perfect. Literally yesterday, they launched a water pitcher. Same technology, UV lights, purifying your water, much healthier than all the alternatives. And that to me is a perfect example of how we can make UV light work. And I'm not sure about the science. I still think obviously some of it is up for debate, but I think that it's been more and more applied, and I think water bottle is an example of it. Purifying water, I mean, something that we drink every day, is one way to go, and then maybe expand that to office spaces. Why not? I'm all for cleanliness and as much as possible use technology that is not your Clorox that's going to destroy everything it touches. and it is not harmful via UV lights, why not? I'm all for it.
We're gonna end up with
I'm
a
not
whole
invested in
generation.
Marc. I promise you I'm not. You should check it out. I have nothing to do with them.
You're allowed to pitch anything you want on this show, so no worries. I was gonna say we're gonna end up with a whole new generation of children with allergies because they haven't been exposed to germs in all of these new clean spaces.
That's fair.
All right, we'll go to the first cartoon break. Cartoonist, what do you have for us?
All right, can you see my screen? So the Netflix concept, I was thinking about how that would be much better for restaurants because I can never decide what to eat. So if they just bring me a plate and I just start eating it, that'd be a better application.
Your restaurant shuffle?
Yeah, and then there's this guy. Actually, he's in a catch-22 because is addicted to travel shows, so he doesn't leave his sofa. And then lastly, this guy.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's how I feel about the Kardashians. I feel like it is my one guilty pleasure.
Everyone has that.
Nice. Thank you. All right. Headline number 3 of the day. Unused rooftop space transformed into stunning sustainable farm. So this headline is about a specific example of a rooftop on top of a university that was transformed into a farm. Previously unused space. It now incorporates solar power, rainwater collection, and is used to also teach sustainable farming techniques, which is cool. Over the past couple of months, we've seen nature start to reclaim space that it had been previously elbowed out of thanks to humans, which is amazing in a lot of ways. With the flora and fauna venturing back into urban spaces, will cities start to embrace and build more of these sustainable spaces where we can coexist? What's your thinking?
I think so. I mean, it seems like especially younger generations, like millennials and Gen Z, are already like themselves getting more and more into gardening and indoor plants and like wanting to eat like things that they make or that are near and local to them. So I feel like, especially given that cities tend to be a lot of young people, I think that that's kind of a thing that that they'll try to curate for. I also think now with like folks moving to like Denver and Montana and to like you know, a bunch of different places after being in the city, if they end up coming back, they'll still have that desire of wanting outdoor spaces and wanting nature around them. So it feels like a good direction to go to, but I also think that people are going to start demanding it.
Yeah, I can't see really a problem with having more green in the city. Like, I mean, what maniac is like, this sounds awful. I also like the idea of just like, instead of farm to table, now you have city to table restaurants that it's like made directly on the restaurant's rooftop. That sounds pretty cool to me. The only thing is I just hope it doesn't take away from our performance space now.
No, it's true. I mean, you've been performing in parks, right? So you can do you can do both.
It's not my favorite though.
You're gonna get pushed out by kale.
Yeah, I have to compete with cicadas. It's really hard because there's no mic.
Okay, makes sense. I mean, to me, of course, this is obviously a positive thing. I mean, what took us so long, I guess, but. I mean, I look at New York, it's sad, right? It's literally that concrete jungle. There's absolutely no nature. You got to drive away to see it. And then you see in other parts of the US, they're like, oh, there's nothing there because it's their way of saying, you know, it's all green, right? Why don't we do a balance of both? I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't balance both. There's, as you called it, unused space. I use that literally, again, another plug. It's this device called Aware. It kind of measures the quality of the air. It doesn't matter how much I open up those windows in New York. I still rank very low. It's a red light. It's essentially, I mean, there's a lot of carbon dioxide in the house. It's tough. I mean, there's not much I can do when the air outside is no bueno. So I'm all for it, really all for it. We got to start here in the developed countries, and hopefully some other countries around the world will follow through, because this is a global problem as opposed to a local one.
Nice. Marc, I'm going to open up advertising spots on the show and you can be the manager. I'm just kidding. No, I love hearing
about invested in them either.
Startups.
It's funny.
Mention all of them.
I wish.
All right, headline number 4 of today. This was from last week before this actually happened. This has now happened. Elon Musk revealed Neuralink with real-time demonstration last week. So this is Elon Musk's neuroscience startup, Neuralink, which many of us I'm sure have heard of. He unveiled a pig named Gertrude that had had a coin-sized computer chip in its brain for 2 months and showed off basically an early step towards their goal of being able to implant these in humans and do great things like cure a lot of mobility diseases and degenerative diseases. The medical uses for Neuralink sound amazing. How do we feel about the non-medical uses, the Homo Deus implications where we all have godlike super abilities? Would be curious to hear your thoughts on what the world looks like when our brains are supercharged with AI.
I'll go first. I mean, I'm going to refrain to comment on anything Elon Musk does until he produces an electric bike that I've been waiting for 10 years. I'd rather not comment on anything he does. Everything he does is a waste of time. Go produce an electric bike for all of us to use. All you.
It definitely seems like big ideas. Like, and then also with like the Homo Deus situation, like, I don't know. I just know even having a good iPhone 11, it still gets kind of glitchy and it still craps the bed. I just get kind of, like, I don't know what it'd be like to put something like that in my head. But I mean, I have an IUD. That's like a foreign object in me. So, and I didn't even do any research for that. So who knows? I don't know. It's just, sometimes you're like, you watch Black Mirror and there's some aspects where you're like, that's kind of cool. Like maybe later on heaven is just us in an external hard drive and we get to hang out in other virtual realities with our friends or whoever we want to be with. So, I like the imagination, but the practicality or application, I'm kind of, I don't know about. It doesn't seem like it'll happen anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm by nature a techno-optimist, so like I like to believe that, having more enhanced technology will hopefully make society better over time. But I also think that with something that is so that can be so powerful, there becomes just like a ton of responsibility around ethics and the implications. And so do I trust Elon Musk with this? Maybe not. But is it a net positive for people to be working on this technology? Yes. I just think we have to think a lot about the ethical implications of all of it.
I think soon we'll see Marc riding his Tesla bike driven by only his mind.
I'll take it.
All right, game number 2 of today. This one is worth 10 points. So Marc and Sarah, chance for you to take a lead over Jomayra. This is multiple choice. We've got a headline here with a missing word, and one of the 3 options below is correct. So a new type of blank may be the first that is infinitely recyclable. Is it A, plastic, B, styrofoam, or C, battery? Write your answers down, and then just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and we'll all show our answers to the screen at the same time. All right, awesome. What do you all have?
I feel like I'm always wrong, but I put battery.
I put plastic.
I think we're going to be wrong together. I put battery too.
Correct answer is in fact plastic, which means 10 more points for Jomayra. Marc and Sarah, you guys
sorry. Oh my God, this is horrible game.
Awesome.
Same wavelength, but wrong wavelength. Yeah, the correct answer is plastic. So this is a new type of plastic called PBTL, probably marketing name pending. It's been developed here at the Colorado State University. And the plastic can easily be broken down into its chemical building blocks and reassembled into high quality products. I mean, this is amazing because it could reduce the amount of plastic waste that ends up in landfills like this terrible picture on the slide. Great. Headline number 5 of today, down to the last 2. This one is 750 million genetically engineered mosquitoes have been approved for release in the Florida Keys. The pilot project is designed to test if a genetically modified mosquito is a viable alternative to spraying insecticides to control specific mosquitoes that carry several deadly diseases like Zika and dengue and other ones. In the Florida Keys, they're spending $1 million a year right now to spray for just these types of mosquitoes that carry these diseases. The idea is that they can actually change the population of mosquitoes so that they won't have to spray for these in the future. Question for you all. Do the pros of releasing a genetically modified organism to combat disease outweigh the potential harm that could be caused with other, sort of second order effects? Birds and insects and mammals that feed on the mosquitoes as an example, or other, who knows, weird things that can happen. What do you all think?
I don't trust anything that involves Florida, and I'm from Florida. So just nothing about that headline made me feel safe at all. I feel really worried right now.
Also, it's like it was so it felt like it was easy to get that approved down there with no felt like research. I just feel like it's crazy. I just, when you find out what was that park in Yellowstone where they got rid of wolves and then it changed the whole geographic.
Yeah.
I just feel like Mother Nature works itself out a lot of the times, that it's weird to just genetically modify and then send out, how many million mosquitoes?
750 million.
Things suck.
No.
I mean, I grew up in Texas, but it was always kind of iffy. You're hanging outside and then that big truck comes by and just sprays chemicals everywhere. Where you're like, is that good for us too?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it is scary. I'm not going to go as far as blaming all of Florida for it, but it's scary, obviously, genetically modified, all of that being said. But one thing I will say, though, and I work in the pet space, obviously, like, at Pawp, we deal with pets, mostly cats and dogs. But I'll always say that human life kind of outweighs, obviously, like, pet lives. I mean, I'm all for it. If we can find, a middle ground, I'm all for it. But if it's going to be at the detriment, I mean, if we're saving animals by hurting humans, I mean, the choice is pretty clear to me. I'll just leave it at that.
It's a good perspective. All right, last headline of the day, headline number 6. This is London scientists build ultra broadband that's nearly 3 million times faster than UK home fiber. So this headline is about scientists in London that have achieved the world's fastest internet speed. This is really interesting. To put into perspective, they say that they could download the entire Netflix library in 1 second. Question to you all. How does the world change when the internet is available at something like the speed of light?
I'm all for this. And can it happen at my parents' house? Because I can never get anything done there. They only have 5G, and I'm like, why is it still so slow, or like kicks me off all the time? I mean, I don't see how this can hurt anything. This is awesome. I'm all for it.
Totally. I mean, other than the fact that like there's gonna be people downloading the whole Netflix archives and maybe watching a ton of Netflix, but like other than that, I mean, I think the world ends up much better if you can like access it faster, get things done more faster. You know how much time we waste with like the little scrolling thing, just like going so slow.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a big positive. I think just in terms of high level, what would happen, hardware will automatically cost less money. I mean, right now, Microsoft, Apple, and all these guys are competing on how much can I fit in processing speed and memory within like, and how small can I build my hardware? I think all of that will change. Hardware will become cheap, become a commodity, and everything will be like, for better or worse, in the cloud. Huge one. And I look at a bunch of industries that will be positively affected of that, esports being one of them. Obviously very biased. Consider myself an amateur gamer myself, but lot of industries will benefit from, you know, very, very fast internet, low latency, etc. So it will change for the better. My only hope is that this becomes, obviously, internet becomes democratized. I mean, let's not forget, the world is not just Europe and the United States, right? Like it's all of the world. And I mean, once you have a computer and the internet, sky's the limit, especially in 2020 and hopefully 2030. You don't need more than that to produce, if that makes sense. So I'm all for it. I vote yes.
All right, stay tuned, and we'll all be downloading Netflix in a second. Great, we'll go to the last cartoon break of the day. Cartoonist, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I'm ready this time. Can you guys see the screen?
50 million.
And then this guy.
That's cute.
This girl's back.
That's true.
And lastly, it's my mother as a bird.
It's so funny.
That's funny.
You should send her that.
I will.
Nice. All right, thank you. We will end today on a game. This one is worth 10 points. Gives Mark and Sarah a chance to put some points on the board. This one is fill in the blank. And what we're looking for here is just anything funny or silly or weird, just 10 points to whoever makes me laugh. So this is chameleon-like robot has the fastest extendable blank in tech. So take a minute, 60 seconds, write down whatever you think is funny or weird to complete this, and then just give me thumbs up when you're ready. Jomayra's ready. We'll just give Sarah and Mark a little bit more time.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sarah, you do this
You're the
professionally.
comedian. Come on, Sarah.
I know, but
You're the comedian
I
here.
don't think in robots. I make fun of myself.
Are you guys ready?
This is,
Are you
it's
both
too
ready?
much pressure. Yeah. Mine's so
Mark?
dumb.
Mark, you got something too?
Yeah, I got something.
Okay. All right. Jomayra, you're ready first. So, chameleon-like robot has the fastest extendable
Personality in tech.
Nice, not bad. You already have 15 points, so you're good. All right, Mark, chameleon-like robot has the fastest extendable.
I had iPhone/Android charger. Boring. I don't know.
That's a good
I
one.
don't know.
I'm always reaching for the
Fast,
cable.
extendable.
Yeah, that's what I had. Kinda like a power cord or something. You could put it wherever you want it. Plug in power cord.
Nice. All right.
Hey, Sarah, I'm going to come in your next show for sure. We're definitely on the same page on everything. I'm definitely coming.
I will give both Mark and Sarah 10 points for funny answers, which still makes Jomayra, with 15 points, our winner for today. The correct answer, the real headline is tongue. Chameleon-like robot has the fastest extendable tongue in tech. So this is a robot called Snatcher, and it's a fast and compact robot that was created by researchers at the Seoul National University of Science. The idea behind this is that it's basically an appendage that you could add to a drone or any sort of robot that could drop off or pick up packages quicker and at a safe distance. So just an extension for them to be able to put it out or pick it up. Awesome. That's all we have for today. One more time, this is where you can find all of our lovely guests online. And again, All the headlines we chatted about today came from This Week in Creative Tech, bit.ly/join Future Fridays. Thanks so much for joining today, everyone. This was so fun. Great episode.
Super fun.
Yes.
Thank you.